This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
That's what playoff baseball does to you. High one day and rock bottom low the next. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. And the series is even at one game apiece. The Guards take this one 6-1. And the Tigers are back in meltdown mode, just like we saw at the end of the regular season, but inventing new ways this time to lose 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position, 15 men left on base. It was painful to watch, and we will revisit all of that pain. If you're new around here, would like you to invite you to like today's video and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. Daily Locked On Tigers content with Scott Bentley, and of course the post-game show with me, Jake Riepma. Now, if you're a Guardians fan, shove it in our face. Sure, we had a lot of Guardians fans on the stream yesterday, and maybe after a win there'll be even more Guardians fans on today's Locked On Tigers postcast. But for 8 innings, this was just two bad baseball teams is what it felt like. I mean, the base running mistakes that the Tigers made. And I said, listen, we're going to get into this in my biggest talking point. We'll have our turning point, and I'll be able to hone in on what I've said all year about, for whatever reason, this Tigers team and their aggressive base running that was praised all season long on the FanDuel broadcast, because why wouldn't you praise this team for every little thing that they do? It came back to bite them in the ass, just like any baseball mind could have told you. If you consistently make egregious mistakes and egregious errors on the base pass when moments matter the most, is you're going to do the exact same thing. The other part of this, like I mentioned in the open, 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position and 15 men left on base. But let's talk about it. Your comments, welcome. Fire up that comment section. I know we've got a ton of comments already coming in. I'll do my best to get to as many as possible. But we begin where we always do, our biggest talking point after a Tigers loss in game number 2.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Any competitor will tell you that when the moments are the biggest, the lights are the brightest, you have to be able to perform at your absolute best. That's what separates the good from the great, turns players into legends, that sort of thing. And really, I'm sure Guardians fans would tell you the same thing. Neither team was at their best today. I mean, look at the way the game started. And I'm not picking on the kid. I know it was his major league debut, but errors all over the place. And the Tigers, though, they have no excuse. This game was there for the taking. You had a crooked number when Javi Baez hits the RBI single. Let's break that play down for a second. For Zach McKinstry to get gunned out at third, there's no excuse. And I have, the way that replay is played back, we finally got a replay on the ESPN broadcast like an hour later, but Dylan Dingler rounding third, and it's a little thing, but you got to do the little things right in the highest magnitude of the game, like the postseason. You have to be sprinting home. He's looking back at the baseball. There's no reason for that. I know everyone does it, and when things like this happen, the mistake gets magnified, but Zach McKinstry, if you're going to use the oven mitt, use it. The first point of his body does not make contact with the base, and therefore the tag being applied to the helmet and head area makes contact with him before he's in safely at third. And little things, they're little things, but again, in the heat of the moment, they get magnified. And if Dingler's running 100% full-on sprint, he scores there. And if you're Joey Cora, maybe, you don't send him there, or maybe McKinstry turns around, gets in a rundown. Okay, he's gunned down, but then it's a 2-1 game. The weight and the air being lifted out of the balloon and deflated when that game went from 2-1 Tigers to 1-1 cannot be overstated. It really can't. Other notes I had written down for my biggest talking point, in a playoff game, you're going to have a lot of talking points. You really are. But Jahmai Jones pinch hitting for Riley Green tells you everything you need to know. And there's no confidence in Riley Green. And that was a huge pivotal moment of the game. It was yet again another opportunity for this Tigers team to break it open, put up a crooked number. But instead, Jahmai Jones strikes out. And this is the craziest part. I texted a buddy when they had 2 on after that Carpenter single. Glaber gets hit by the pitch. Carpenter singles. I texted a buddy and said, they're not scoring here. And call me cynical, call me whatever you want, call me a bad fan. And I know we had some comments. I normally don't respond to comments on the Locked On Tigers postcast after the show has aired, of course, when the show's on. But, you were so down on this team a week ago, and now you're all excited that they won. Yeah, of course I was excited that they won. I mean, this is fan-sided content. But at the same time, we're not going to not call them out or hold them accountable when egregious mistakes are made. You have to call it how it is. And this Tigers team, for how many consecutive innings did they have 2 on? This particular time happened to be first and third. Nobody out. Torkelson, shallow fly ball. Might as well have still been on the infield. That's not getting the job done. Jahmai Jones strikes out. But again, it's more telling. I don't want to crucify AJ Hinch for making a bold call in that particular moment and pinch hitting Riley Green. Riley Green's been terrible. I know he had the double, but he's been absolutely atrocious. And I liked the chances better with Jahmai Jones up there than with Riley Green. I really did. And that being said, though, I think Jahmai Jones got screwed on the 3-1 pitch being called a strike. It should have been ball 4, would have loaded the bases. Totally changes the demeanor, the outcome of the at-bat, of course, but at the same time, be a big league baseball player, man. It's the playoffs. That's why you're in the game. That's why you're facing a lefty. Find a way to get it done. The Tigers repeatedly gave themselves opportunities and did not get it done. And the result, a winner-take-all game number 3. All right. Do want to give a shout-out. I saw one comment there. How about Javi Baez? I mean, I put this on Twitter. I take all the negative things I ever said about Javi Baez, and if you've been with us from the beginning of the Locked On Tigers postcast, one of the bits we have is I'll say something nice about Javi. It pains me to do so, but he's been phenomenal. He's the only one on this team, 2 for 4 today, and should have had the 2 RBI, but again, boneheaded mistakes from the Detroit Tigers. Demetrius McNeil is up first. Tigers with men in scoring position is the disgrace. To make matters worse, game 3 is win or go home. Got to come back next game. Yep, that's 100%. AM says 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Runners in stranded position. That's good. The RISP stands for runners in stranded position. Unbelievable. It's just Elijah Harris says, I'm done. I'm not blaming anybody for feeling that way. We got one more. I mean, we got a winner take all. There's not a clutch bone in this entire team other than Skubal, Elijah Harris adds. And I don't disagree with that by any means. R1 VJ4, we haven't even talked about this yet, but Melton fed them in the 8th. Herter should have been in there first, and maybe Melton. That was just good hitting by Bo. Yeah, listen, I know we can look at the box score and say, okay, it was still a 1-1 game in the bottom of the 8th, but you just, with the number of times the Tigers failed to score and the opportunities they had, that was inevitable. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sorry I can't get into all of these comments, but let's take a quick timeout. We'll get into our biggest turning point as well as our player of the game. That's all next on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by our good friends at Game Time. There's nothing quite like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, unless that team is the Detroit Tigers, then it's just pure misery. Oh, I might have added that. But actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees. It takes all the fun out of it. And that's why I use Game Time. It's the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all the fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. What a concept. That's my favorite part of the Game Time experience. And remember, fees are included. Know your total upfront, no surprise fees at checkout. It's that simple. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create that account. It's promo code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download the Game Time app today. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is also brought to you by our good friends at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't know the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface, all on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you because Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, and you can see clear data visuals and get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDON. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is also brought to you by our good friends at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You just pick a bet. You put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play, and that includes parlays and, of course, player props and even live betting on the action during the game. So whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Okay, it's a winner take all. Game number 3 tomorrow. Tigers will be the early game again. We'll do our best. And whatever happens, happens. Man. A couple more comments here. Travis Wayne. Javi being our best hitter is concerning. I don't know how I feel about Flaherty. I'm with you. And Tim Palmer, I agree with you. This is the result of Scott Harris thinking he's the smartest dude in the room. We sure could use another bat and a few more arms. No, it's exactly right. This team wasn't built to last, and this team wasn't built to make a playoff run, really. You think about it. And especially on top of that with your stars not performing. And I yelled and screamed at the deadline. I'm not going to do that again. It's not as simple as, oh, you add this player and you're a contender. I get that. I'm trying to summarize it in a matter of 30 seconds here. And the season's not over. There's a winner-take-all game 3. We'll gear up, roll our sleeves up, see what happens in game number 3. Jack Flaherty to pitch for the Tigers. I don't feel overly optimistic on that. But at the same time, baseball is a crazy game. The Tigers are going to have to do something. I mean, 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position. It's just insane. Saccone for the Guardians will pitch. Just absolutely insane. All right. We got to get into our biggest turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Couple of options in this one. How about anytime the Tigers had a runner in scoring position, right? 1 for 15. I got to stop saying that. But 15 men left on base. My original turning point was going to be the Zach McKinstry play, Dylan Dingler. And with the runs being at such a premium, that still looms so large. So it has to be the turning point. It really does. But I hate to give the Tigers credit for anything, but they did continue to create opportunities. They didn't quit after that. And they continued to get men aboard. And they continued to fail to get that clutch hit. What we wouldn't give for just a hit like Javi gave us with runners in scoring position. And, as it was happening with the base running mistake, of course, I'm screaming at my apartment. I'm so rattled by the fact that everything I said I couldn't stand about this team with their egregious base running mistakes now looming so large in the most pivotal game of the season. Do I feel validated? Sure. But I mean, again, I want this team to win so badly. At that moment, it was a horrific realization that, of course, the aggressive base running comes back to screw this team over. Of course, that's how it worked out. Another turning point, Jahmai Jones again with the opportunity there in the 7th. 1 out. And just what does the game look like? Of course, the overall feel of the game, the overall makeup of a batter's approach, of a pitcher's approach is so different if it's 2-1 Tigers. And even again, if it's not 2-1 Tigers from that particular time, if it's 2-1 Tigers from Jahmai Jones or from Zach McKinstry and Dylan Dingler figuring out a way not to make base running mistakes. But season comes down to one game. Win and advance to the next round, lose, and the season's over. We'll have a live Locked On Tigers post-game show for you after that. Make sure you check out the Daily Show with Scott Bentley. Make sure you like today's video, subscribe as well. And the Guardians fans, hey, maybe you get to go to the game tomorrow. That could be fun. I don't know. Anyways, enjoyed the post-game show. I'm glad I didn't have a meltdown because what the kids call it, crashing out. I crashed out before I got on camera. How about that? All right. Also check out the Locked On Lions squad show. That'll be tomorrow. It's on Thursdays. We'll have special guest Will Birchfield from 971theticket.com. He does the Lions pregame show on Fox 2 as well. Busy time of year. Tigers, Guardians. Game 3. Winner take all. Let's see what happens. Thanks so much for tuning in. Love you guys. See you next time.